See if Goblin Bane is able to redeem himself. 10 shock advantage. Ouch! It's going to be hitting very, very hard. Ovdal Kanzon has some very cool ideas if a dwarf adventurer reforms it. Interesting. That's this guy, isn't it? Yeah, which I think the Axebellow cartel was supposed to have done, but they got trapped by the goblins here. So then I took it myself. It's in better hands with the cannon dwarves, clearly. Should give him more troops. I can't. He's a mercenary. Oh, no, he's not. Well, it was the rebels that screwed him. The natives didn't. Restoration of Ovdal Kanzon. Done. So the first thing you're going to do is wait until we can afford a castle and then build a castle. And also Dwarven 57 is about to finish, which is good. There's the castle. Get that built. Oh. 45 is done. 45 is the gem road. So you know whose road this is going to be? This is going to be Mordred. And Mordred is going to need to get some stuff built, I think. Oh, and it has a bonus to local goods produced. Marvellous. Now, do I want to spend points on this now? I don't think there's any reason not to. There's Dwarven 57, so you can move on to 58, which is going to be the next one to get colonized. Then you need to be renamed, and this is going to be Dwarfelrod. Which sounds appropriately dwarven. Even if somehow there's cattle there. I just hope that I can get to Ovdal Kanzon before the command gets here and starts colonizing this. Oh, you connect to here. Interesting. Then yes, taking this is going to be important. Great Beard Cavern. That's an amazing name for a dwarven cavern. I approve. Fighting the command is going to be a cluster. Fighting the command is definitely going to provide some unique and interesting challenges. For sure. Drilling, thank you. Yes, they should definitely be drilling. Army is under attack, but you should be quite well equipped to deal with them. Yeah, it's just too bad that Goblin Bane appeared after the war with the command. Like, had he appeared during the command, I might actually have been able to take something off of the command. But because he appeared just after that war, at a time when we're pretty much at peace because we have no aggressive neighbours within the mountains. I mean, I guess what we could do is ally with Akrasur and get them to take Dirtwater. Seeing as they're desert elves. No, they're humans. Serani. Akrasur are humans. They just own elven territories. Shame Ellen died. They were the last believers in Jad. I see. I have a feeling that the war against the command is going to be us sitting in a dwarf hold forts, blasting endless legions of hobgoblins with canister shot. Pretty much like the Goblin Wars, but yes. Castle just represents livestock in all of its forms. I'm sure there's cave creatures that can live there. Oh, like... I was just reading about this. I've been reading the Drizzt Do'Urden series by R.A. Salvatore, and Drizzt for a while was keeping a goat-like underground creature. And seeing as this is in the same D&D setting, they probably exist here too. But I can't remember what they're called. Black Orc people plead for aid. Savages haven't known suffering yet. Or perhaps we should show Chad no. These savages don't know what suffering is. Speaking of which, actually, we are coming across Black Orcs, and I don't think that we are persecuting Black Orcs appropriately. Orcish majority. Yes, there are orcs. And no, we haven't started purging them. And that is unacceptable. Racial tolerance and population control. Let's go down to the orcses. There they are. And we are going to purge the orcses. Begin the purge. In the year of 1528, Lord Durin I officially proclaimed that all orcs within the lands of Ovdal Kanzad must be killed on sight. And to celebrate this, he shall ascend to becoming a kingdom. Hooray! We are no longer simply a duchy. Execute Order 66. Goblin majority flees. Alright, we'll start actually regaining manpower again soon, I hope. We did get the barracks built here, so this place alone provides 10,000 manpower. 1/3 of the manpower of our empire comes from Ovdal Kanzad. Diet. So the nobility want us to have 50% manpower. Dream on. You want me to put more base production in Anders Quarry. Anders Quarry is not a road. However, this wants me to have a mage tower. I have no intention of getting a mage tower. Particularly not in Ovdal Kanzad, which is going to be digging deeper for the next 16 years. So it's kind of got to be this one. So Anders Quarry, unfortunately, we just need to spend a bunch of points. Although, Anders Quarry is the gold mine. So there is that. So of all of the caverns you could have chosen, this probably was the best choice. There you go. Yeah, thanks. I mean, the states aren't exactly massively valuable right now, and I'm pretty sure I don't have the admin to actually core this stuff, but I will state them. No. But we can start. There's the 1800 ducats. So, what I think I'm going to do now is I am going to start upgrading these to tier 3s. Maybe even tier 4s. We'll stick with 3s for the moment. So that's going to increase the amount of monarch points we get. The more monarch points we get, the more we can pile into development. Really not sure what I want to do. Oh, Scoot Jake is down to just 1. Hull Jorcad. Hull Jorcad's quite big. Who are you? Oh, these are dwarves. Lead dwarves. Okay. So, dwarf hold, or rather, dwarf hold, dwarf hold, dwarf hold, dwarf hold, dwarf... Not dwarf. Not dwarf. Not dwarf. Not dwarf. Not dwarf. Dwarf hold. So these mountains are where the dwarves have done worst, which is kind of hilarious considering this is where some of the biggest expeditions start. Whoa, that's a big frozen moor. Also, Crackdoms of War. Having a really good game. That's also a dwarf hold. They're the northern... The Chaos Dwarves. No, the Viking Dwarves. Garwerd's looking quite scary. Nimsgard. Nimsgard's taking out blue scale. So Nimsgard's growing. Roth. That was it. Yeah, the Underdark cattle are called Roth. Thank you. Huzzah! Zulu Danny, thank you very much for the subscription. Welcome to the Maudlings. Good to have you joining us. And Kakakodo wants me to drink some tea. A strange game. Questions 4. And Romansaw, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Kemen Moldea wants me to drink some tea. Kemen, you were one of the generals in this game. Code Brewer, thank you very much for the follow. Jackator coming in with a 3-month Twitch Prime resubscription. Thank you very much for that, Jackator, as well. Very much appreciate it. Can the dwarves build zeppelins? I doubt it. I literally just need a natural scientist for that. We haven't seen any. For some time. Man, the command is absolutely wrecking these guys every time he fights them. They don't look like they're doing too hot. Cornwall. The new draperies, a new technique for fabric production, has begun to emerge amongst the cloth workers of Cornwall. The so-called new draperies are much thinner, lighter and cheaper than the thick woolens that used to be in demand. While demand is on the rise, these new products, their productions makes use of considerably less wool, and as a result prices have been declining. So cloth goes up, wool goes down. That's, I think, mostly bad for us. We do have one cloth producer, which is actually a hold, so that's very good for us. But a couple of these places, particularly roads, are wool producers. But I think in general, just because the holds tend to have so much more development, it's a good thing. It's a net positive. And there we go. The Axbello cartel have been integrated. We did get their armies. And we do now have the Kariat Cave, which leads to Gatub, which is farmland. And I do think that Kariat Cave really wants to have a fort. I'm a bit surprised that this isn't a gate or something. It's a bit of a back door into our realm, and I don't much like that. Meanwhile, are we over our force limit? We are by 2, so let's get rid of 2 of you. And we'll add you lot to the main army, and just have you drilling. Hovsen Pass needs a core. We can do that. There will be blood. Gaeflin wants to attack Sesterand. Oh, we have the Babbling Buffoon, which means the AI is going to know everything we're doing. Wait. Wait a minute. So basically, Babbling Buffoon for a player just means that someone's stream sniping you. Just seeing if there's anything else that we want. Like the yearly army tradition decay would actually be really nice. From the nobility. At this point. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Our army tradition should recover in time. This is going to change their influence, but not in a bad way. Doesn't change my land owned either. Adventurers, do you do anything which is going to be of use? Mercenary discipline. The pioneer initiatives would be nice. Why can't you do this? Oh, you've already done it, that's why. Haha. So, free company rosters would increase their influence. And make our mercenaries fight better. And we are somewhat reliant on mercenaries. This one allows mercenaries to have more manpower and reduces the unrest, but at a big cost to income. I think we can do the free company rosters, just to flesh you out. The merchant guilds we want to keep as is, and then there was nothing else useful from the clergy. And the mages? Prestige in exchange for money? I don't think so. No. We don't really do anything with the mages. Oh, and our crown land has increased significantly enough that we now gain absolutism. Although we're not in the age of absolutism, so that has no effect yet. Dwarvarad 44 is copper, 58 is under attack. You should be able to beat them off pretty easily, though. Goblin Banes at it again. You built your fort. You have also built your fort. You are in the process of building the fort. We will eventually need the fort here, but I think right now what we can start doing is paying off these loans. Don't think there's anything else I need the money for. You wish to hire condottieri. And who on earth are you? You are somebody who is fighting against Pashanga. That is not the command. If you were fighting the command, I would do it. Oh, this isn't the command. This is Stolen Gem. Who are cave goblins. Oh, so that's why the command hasn't tried to come in over here. Are you a vassal? Yeah, you're a vassal of the command. So these guys might try to expand. But that's actually really good that they exist, because that's stopping the command from just taking over my territory. Likewise, Black Steps over there. I get it. Okay. So the command just has a whole bunch of vassals. Goblins are fleeing the country, and there we go. Idea. We can finally finish off offensive ideas. We did not get the innovative bonus. We missed it by 5 years. Oh well. This idea was first picked in 1466. Yeah, we didn't stand a chance with the expansion stuff. Spirit of Core is also actually going to finish off Canister Shot, as we were talking about Canister Shot earlier. Is this a Lord of the Rings mod? No, Dungeons and Dragons. The Canister Shot was developed in the 1500s during the Dwarven Reclamation as an improved way to cull the goblinoid hordes, which, much more often than not, succeeded in getting into melee distance due to their sheer numbers alone. In response to this, the Kanzadi Dwarves developed canister shells, which when fired, shot out a cone of shrapnel at very close range, essentially turning the goblins into pulp, making them seriously reconsider their charges from then on. Shock damage received, minus 10%. And we have a new policy, modern siege weapons. Traditional armies relied on furious discipline to maintain order in the ranks. However, by appealing to unit pride, we can reach an even higher levels of discipline. Okay, so policy. This is our first one. It's free. Leader siege +1, siege leader siege ability +10. Sounds good to me. Let's specialize in cannons. Definitely never heard that before. We can now get a rival. Is it the command? It's not. Rajnaga. Who are friendly. Now, I don't have any power projection to lose if I don't have rivals. Am I sure the command actually has colonists? No. Not sure how I could see that. I don't think you can. They have a rival. Buvori are apparently a reasonable rival for them. Whomever the Buvori are. Yeah, I know you can see it through ideas, but like one of my colonists is just because I'm dwarves. They have... Wow, okay. They're working on economic ideas, but they're doing it incredibly slowly. Also, hobgoblins, plus 15% infantry combat ability. That is good to know. That would explain why they were so damaging to us. So whereas our cannon are really good, their infantry are really good. Maps. Yes, we can do the maps. Good point. Whoa, okay. Hello, Shamancad. That... Now, you get to see why I was concerned about the command. Alright, so... Yeah, problem. They are definitely going to be a problem. So I didn't want to make too big a deal about it, but when I was looking around for nations, I saw the command at the start of the game consists of like this much. They are probably one of the biggest established nations at the start. So the fact that they've grown like this is not a surprise at all. The command is the unholy child of Ming and Prussia. Oh gosh, that's scary. Cave goblins will get Siberian frontiers. Interesting. Cannon dwarves, way better than those apocryphal dwarves. I don't actually know how you pronounce that. Apocryphal? Apocryphal? Nope, I don't know. I know it means like generic, right? It doesn't happen very often that I come across an English word I don't actually know. Apocryphal. Oh, riff. Okay. Apocryphal. Gotcha. What are hobgoblins? Never heard of them in a fantasy setting. So in Dungeons & Dragons, hobgoblins are the bigger, meaner cousins of the goblins. They're actually a really interesting race. Because of all of the so-called monstrous races, I think that hobgoblins are the most likely and the most like humanoid races. They are really well organized. They do tend to be like mercenaries. They form up into military regiments and things. So they're basically Prussia. The hobgoblins in D&D are basically Prussia. They are an army with a state. They're very militarist, very aggressive, and organized. So orcs tend to be more savage, and I don't know why, but orcs are often like perceived as being the biggest rival to humanity. I don't think they are. I think the hobgoblins are. So if I ever actually sit down and write a proper fantasy setting, one of the major like powers will definitely be the hobgoblins, because like I said, of the monstrous races, I think they are probably the most likely to actually become a major organized, settled power. Orcs have Urukai as superiors, goblins have hobgoblins as superiors. Yeah, effectively. How old am I? Old enough. Usually they have a past civilization that's developed to a degree. There are so many of the orcs is the thing, I think. Yeah, but like very often when you see fantasy worlds, it's the orcs that have kind of developed their own civilization. But from everything that we know about orcs and how they're written, hobgoblins are just so much more likely. And heck, I could even see orcs working for hobgoblins as opposed to vice versa. Just because hobgoblins are so dangerous because they're so organized. And they are really organized. Like, they have rigorous discipline. They really are the Prussia of fantasy. Mordred is timeless. Like, one of the D&D campaigns I was running, actually, the last one that I ran before the Icewind series, the party befriended a hobgoblin after hobgoblins found the party's camp and attacked it and almost destroyed it. Because again, like, I play the hobgoblins like a well-drilled unit, And they used like proper military precision to take down the party's camp and very nearly defeated them. But the party did manage to take one of the hobgoblins prisoner, and then because of the way that hobgoblin society works, basically if you win the fight, you are now their superior. And the party enforced this. So the hobgoblin became one of their NPC companions and fought alongside the party, because the party just didn't really lose any of these battles. And eventually the hobgoblin went his own way, started his own mercenary company, and became a major player in the region because of all the military tactics he had learned while working with the party. And like his entire persona was like, yes, you defeated me in battle, so I want to learn from you. And then as soon as he felt he couldn't learn anything else from the party, he went his own way. He was a really interesting character, actually, like probably one of my favorite NPCs. And then because of the way that campaign ended, that hobgoblin became very important in that region because suddenly mercenaries were in very high demand, and he had one of the premier mercenary companies because of what he'd learned from the party. The command here also has orc slave states and goblin slave states. I mean, they definitely have the goblin ones. It's these two guys on the either side of them. Fun fact. Hobgoblins, goblins, and bugbears all had their own godly pantheons, but Maglibliet, the hobgoblin conquest god... Ah! Chat keeps scrolling. Something, something, something. Where's it gone? I was reading that. That was interesting. Hobgoblin conquest god killed all the other deities and brought all three races under his command. Check the government form. Are they Prussian government? Great command. Hobgoblin statocracy. National manpower plus 10. Maintenance minus 10. Monarch military skill. Officer authority plus 0.5. Decentralized bureaucracy plus 2. Administration of the boar. Prestige. What government form is that? Ming? Is this a mandate of heaven? It is, isn't it? Yeah, decentralized bureaucracy is a mandate of heaven thing. Maximum absolutism plus 5, monthly autonomy change minus 0.05, leaders without upkeep plus 1, diplomats plus 1, governing capacity plus 400, and the national focus cooldown minus 10. That's pretty nice. Oh, and they also have an admin leader upgrade. And what does their religion do? It's not high philosophy, it's God Lost. Unrest minus 4. The God Lost have denounced the shamanistic ways of the goblin cults. Instead, they have forged their own society into a rigid structure. They value family and country over religious practices and cosmic powers. A disciplined and loyal attitude is revered, and any disobedience is harshly punished to the nationalists. As a religion. Mordred said he's played 2,000 years of EU4, so we'll let you guess from there. Apocryphal means something like attributed to, like there are a bunch of apocryphal books of the Bible, like the Gospel of Thomas and Judas, not recognised as being part of the Bible and Christian dogma, but ones might have been in early Christianity. Gotcha. Most orcs seem at most able to be a tiller, but not much able to do with statecraft to remain on the map. No, which is why I think the hobgoblins are so much more likely to actually form a organised society. The orcs are too wild. Yes, they can form like tribal and clan units. I think actually the orcs and like Warhammer do it best. That's how I would see orcs, and there are no hobgoblins in Warhammer. Unfortunately, I think that hobgoblins in Warhammer would be interesting. But in D&D, I definitely see of the monstrous humanoids the hobgoblins being top dogs. Especially because they can get bugbears to work for them, which is the muscle. They can get the goblins to work for them, which are the chaff. And I would say that they could probably get the orcs to work for them as well. Oh, it's government reforms. Duh! Yeah, I didn't think that that's how government reforms would show. Statocracy is the Prussian government army with a state. Is it though? Because it doesn't say anything about having militarism. And I would expect militarism, if they had any, would appear as part of the government bonus. Plus Prussian government gives +3 military, doesn't it?